The air in the attic was thick with dust motes dancing in the slant of sunlight. Arun shifted precariously on the ladder, careful not to jostle the stacks of ancient books. Every surface in his grandfather's home was covered in them, their leather spines whispering stories of a bygone era. He was searching for something more personal, something to help decipher the cryptic notes his grandfather had left behind. Tao, the family patriarch, had always been an enigma. Despite his advanced age, his mind was sharp as a tack, his spirit brimming with tales of adventure and daring. But in recent years, he'd become increasingly reclusive, poring over his journals and muttering about unfinished business. When Arun found the hidden compartment in Dao's desk containing a lock of white hair and a faded photograph of two young men, he felt a pang of sadness. Despite the distance that often separated them, Arun loved his grandfather dearly and longed to understand the mysteries that haunted him. As he descended the ladder, clutching his finds, Arun noticed a worn leather album lying on the table below. Its pages were filled with pictures of Tao at various stages of his life, each image accompanied by neat script detailing the date and occasion. Arun traced the elegant curves of Tao's youthful face in the photograph, marveling at how his stoic features had softened with age. But it was the blank spaces that intrigued him the most, the missing chapters in his grandfather's life. A sudden crash from the attic startled him out of his reverie. He raced back up the ladder, concern etching lines on his brow. He found Tao lying at the foot of the ladder, a cut above his eye and blood staining his white hair. Fear clawed at Arun's throat, but Tao waved away his concerns with a chuckle. Just an old man losing his balance, nothing to worry about. Arun, unconvinced, helped his grandfather downstairs, tending to his wound with gentle care. Tao winced at the touch, and a shadow crossed his usually twinkling eyes. "We need to talk, Arun," he said quietly once they were settled in the parlor. "There are things you should know about me, about our family." As Tao spoke, Arun felt like he was listening to a fantastical tale spun by a seasoned traveler. Tao told him about his childhood in a small village nestled amidst emerald rice paddies and vibrant flower fields. But his idyllic upbringing was shattered when soldiers descended upon their peaceful community, burning their homes and separating him from his family. Lost and alone, Tao stumbled through the war-torn countryside, fueled by the hope of reuniting with his parents and younger brother. Along the way, he befriended a young man named Keat, who shared Tao's determination to find their families. They journeyed together, finding solace in each other's company and forging a bond that went beyond friendship, but their reunion was short-lived. One day, while scavenging for food, Tao and Keat were caught stealing and sentenced to labor in a military camp. The separation tore at their hearts, and they spent their days counting the hours until they could reunite. However, fate had a cruel twist in store for them. After months of grueling work, Tao managed to escape and stumbled back to his village, only to find it in ruins. His parents and brother were gone. In their place was a weathered gravestone bearing the date of their deaths. Grief threatened to consume him, but the memory of Keat spurred him onward. With renewed determination, Tao vowed to find his friend, no matter how far he had to go. But it wasn't easy. Years turned into decades, and Tao's search led him from bustling city streets to sleepy rural towns, all the while chasing rumors and whispers that Keat might be there. He followed every lead, clinging to hope that refused to die. Finally, his journey brought him to a tranquil village nestled amidst rolling hills and dotted with ancient temples. And here, in this peaceful place, he began his life anew. He poured his energy into studying ancient texts, becoming a respected scholar in his twilight years. But even as he found contentment in his adopted home, the memory of Keat refused to fade. Tao missed his friends' infectious laughter and the easy camaraderie they shared. He missed their dreams of returning home and rebuilding their lives together. He missed him. And so, in his journal entries, Tao poured out his heart, writing down every memory, every dream, every hope, every fear. It was his way of keeping Keat close, of ensuring that their bond would never truly break. One entry in particular tugged at Arun's heart. Dao wrote about a night when he and Keat had shared their deepest desires, their hopes for the future. Under a canopy of stars, they had promised to love and cherish each other no matter what the future held. It was a vow of eternal friendship, a testament to the power of their bond. And then came the confession that shook Arun to his core. Dao admitted that his feelings for Keat had deepened into something more profound, something he dared not speak aloud for fear of jeopardizing their friendship. He described the torment of loving someone who might never reciprocate those feelings, the struggle to keep his heart in check when all he wanted to do was confess his love to Keat. As Arun read on, he felt a surge of understanding. His grandfather wasn't just a reclusive scholar. He was a man wrestling with the ghosts of his past, trying to find peace with the choices he'd made, or rather the choices he'd been forced to make. Dao never kept the promise because fate intervened. Because war tore them apart, Dao poured his heart onto the page, chronicling his undying love for Keat, his regret at never fulfilling that promise. He loved him, really loved him, Dao whispered, as if reading Arun's thoughts. Dao looked up, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. Keat was my everything, Arun, and I never told him. He sighed, the weight of his unspoken feelings evident in his slumped shoulders. It eats at my soul, knowing that he might have loved me too, if only I had confessed. Dao stared at his hands, knuckles white as he gripped them into fists. I think he came to me last night. He looked so much like I remember, right down to the mischievous glint in his eyes. But he was a spirit, Arun. He told me that he's waited for me for all these years, that he wants me to hold him again, to love him. Dao looked up, his eyes pleading. He asked me to let him bind himself to you, Arun, to pass on his love, his spirit, his very essence. Dao winced as if reliving the pain of separation. Can you do that, Arun? Can you carry the weight of our love, the hopes and dreams we shared? If you do, you'll bear the burden of my regrets, my unfulfilled promises, my heart's unspoken desires. The question hung in the air between them, heavy with unspoken emotions. Arun looked at his grandfather, his heart aching for the torment etched on his wrinkled face. He thought of the spectral figure that had visited him, the echo of laughter that seemed to resonate within him. And he knew what he had to do. I'll do it, Grandpa, he said, his voice firm with resolve. I'll carry your love, your regrets, your unfulfilled promises. You don't have to carry them anymore, Grandpa. It's okay to let go. Dao's eyes widened in surprise, then filled with gratitude and love. He reached out, his hand trembling, and gently touched Arun's cheek. Thank you, Arun, he whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion. You have no idea what this means to me. May the stars guide you, my love. May they light your path. And with that, Dao closed his eyes, his grip on Arun's cheek loosening, the weight of unshed tears pressing down on his eyelids. Arun cradled his grandfather's face, murmuring soothing words until Dao drifted off to sleep. In the stillness of the night, as the moon cast long shadows across the room, Arun made a decision. He would honor his grandfather's wishes, carry his love and his regrets. But he would also make sure his grandfather found peace. Whether in this life or the next, he would ensure that Dao and Keat were reunited. Because sometimes love isn't just about the journey, it's about the destination, too.